It's time to head to ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online. We're talking about thousands of top-rated patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. Book an appointment with a few taps in their app and start feeling better, faster with ZocDoc. Go to ZocDoc.com/something and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/something. ZocDoc.com/something.
Hi, I'm Steffany Strange. Want to hear something scary?
In honor of National Hispanic Heritage Month, we're bringing a chilling tale from El Salvador. Be warned though, you don't want to hear the terrible noise of death at midnight. But if you do, make sure to close your windows tight, and no matter what you do not let it lure you outside. But it might be harder than you think. In the dead of night, Dr. Terencio Perez received an urgent call to attend to a sick child at home. The little girl lay in her bed, trembling and barely conscious. Dr. Perez recognized the gravity of the situation. The girl needed immediate hospitalization. However, the family lacked the financial means to afford it. Acting swiftly, he offered the girl a comforting glass of water and advised the family to ensure she stay hydrated. With empathy and compassion, Dr. Perez assured them that when they were able to gather the necessary funds, they could reach out to him to provide his services. And with that, Terencio departed. He headed into town to the only bar still open. He made his way down the dark, empty streets. An odd chill moved through the air. Feeling something was off, he picked up his pace. Without knowing why, he whipped around to see who was following him. But no one was in sight. The streets lay silent except for the echo of his footsteps and the unsettling creak of an ancient, rusted wheel. He inhaled deeply, scanning his surroundings once more, challenging whoever lurked in the shadows to reveal themselves. In front of him stood a familiar face, a man he had known since his childhood. But this time, he was no longer among the living. So how could he possibly still be here? Terencio rubbed his eyes and fixed his gaze on the man. "Do you remember me?" the man snarled, gripping Terencio's collar. And of course he did. It was a priest who had nurtured him throughout his childhood. The priest shook his head in a mix of disappointment and disdain. He made it clear to Terencio that he was well aware of every atrocious act he had committed. When Terencio denied any wrongdoings, the priest swiftly released his grip, causing Terencio to collapse onto the ground. The priest then said, "Ah, Terencio, it seems your true nature has finally caught up to you. Your deceitful deeds shall be unveiled before all. Listen closely, for I shall reveal your despicable acts." Oh, Terencio, the secrets no longer reside solely within the depths of your twisted conscience. Let me recount the tale of your wickedness. Terencio then scoffed. "Oh, please." Then the priest continued, "No, Terencio, your transgressions must be exposed. After you departed our humble town, you shamelessly sought refuge with the unsuspecting villagers. You warmed your way into the life and home of a kind-hearted man named Juan Tepa. And Juan Tepa, who showed mercy, allowed you to dwell under his roof and learn the secrets of herbal medicine. Under the guise of healing, you gained their trust, and yet when the plague befell our desperate community, you seized the opportunity for personal gain." Terencio then interjected, "I never meant to..." The priest then said, "Silence, Terencio. You took advantage of the suffering, exploiting the vulnerable for your own financial benefit. The sick and helpless who needed you the most were met with insatiable greed. Your actions are just unforgivable." Terencio nodded his head, but the priest then continued, "Indeed, you did. Your betrayal of trust and your callous disregard for human life shall not go unpunished. The townspeople, enraged by your malevolence, rightfully banished you from our midst. But it doesn't stop there. You found a ship headed for San Salvador. You told everyone you were a doctor, but you lied. You said you would treat anyone who was ill if you could just have your free passage. But you only tended to those who had money. Your words fall upon deaf ears. Terencio, your true character has been uncovered, and no amount of remorse can undo the harm you have inflicted upon our community. May your exile serve as a constant reminder of the darkness within your soul. And even though you made a vow to me before I died that you would always be a good person and help those in need." Terencio scoffed once more. He made that ridiculous promise ages ago. What's more, he demanded to know how the priest was there. "I watched you die," he said. "You're dead." "And so are you," the priest replied, smiling. Terencio's jaw dropped in shock. He patted himself, but his hand passed straight through his body like a ghost. The priest informed him that because so many people had died from his refusal to help them, Terencio must now wander around and collect the bones of all his victims. He would use them to build a carreta, a chariot, one like the rusty old wagon he heard when the priest first arrived. And so Terencio wandered for years collecting what remains of those who died at his hand. Piece by piece, bone by bone, he builds a chariot of death filled with the skulls and bones of the dead who were left to rot. The priest damned Terencio for eternity until he laid to rest every single bone from his victims in an appropriate cemetery. He would never be a doctor again, simply a bone collector, forced to push the weeping wagon. Legend has it that during the bewitching hours of midnight, Terencio roams the towns and villages of El Salvador, calling out the names of those who have wronged others. In the distance, the eerie sounds of chains rattling and the bones cracking fill the air. And if you're truly unlucky, you might chance upon the haunting sight of Dr. Terencio's perpetually driven cart, burdened with the skulls of the deceased.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you're looking for therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/scary to get 10% off your first month today. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/scary.
Thanks so much for listening. Like and share if this video gave you the chills. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications. See you next time.